Yes, of course. This is the immediate worry. I think it is a gesture, I think, of the Special Administrative Region of Hong Kong not to impose any sanctions on ordinary working Filipinos in Hong Kong, and for that we are grateful. But I think that we worry, of course, that if the situation does not improve, that the sanctions will apply to different sectors already, and slowly, if it gets worse, if the situation gets worse, that ordinary Filipinos working in Hong Kong or other Filipinos hoping to go to Hong Kong will have a difficult time. This is a pity because it is Hong Kong has always been a traditional place for Filipinos to go and find work, and there are many Filipino nationals in Hong Kong who have been there for many years who will be affected by if the situation is not improved.
Do you agree with the President's decision not to apologize?
Well, how I always respond is that I find it difficult to understand why he does not apologize. My view was very simple when it happened. It is because the Hong Kong nationals were here as guests of the Republic of the Philippines, and this terrible tragedy happened on our soil, and by any definition, their safety was our responsibility, and we failed that responsibility. And if all it takes is a simple apology, then I cannot. It's very difficult to understand why that apology is not forthcoming. I think the former president and now mayor of Manila, Mayor Estrada, has tried to do as much as he can. So I think that perhaps cooler minds will prevail, and somebody should advise the president that it is not an admission of any wrongdoing or guilt of any form, but merely an acknowledgement of the fact that this tragedy happened on our soil, in our land, to guests that we had invited to come to the Philippines. And therefore, again, by any definition, it is the responsibility of the state to protect its visitors as they come here. So that would be my own personal position, and I think it is a reasonable one.
What else can we do in terms of damage control to stop further sanctions from Hong Kong?
Hong Kong government has only asked for that. I think they have asked, in addition, is some kind of compensation to those who had been victimized, and that I think is still open to negotiation. But I think the next step would very much be an apology from an official and formal apology from the Philippines about the terrible tragedy that occurred. Again, it should not be seen as an admission of a failing. It should not be seen as somehow a liability on the Philippine government's part, but merely as a recognition and acknowledgement that this happened on our soil, and that by virtue of that, that we in the Philippines recognize that this terrible tragedy was, at least in part, responsibility of the safety is always the safety of visitors is always the responsibility, as is the safety of our citizens. So that is, I think we should go further and also see that there will be an economic impact on our workers there. And there's clearly a diplomatic impact, and this is a part also of our maybe larger diplomatic difficulties that we have with the People's Republic of China. So altogether, I think it would be a very easy solution to issue that apology.
I know some lawmakers were suggesting that we should also impose or cancel the visa-free arrangement. What can you say about that?
I don't see why. The Hong Kong government has asked us to acknowledge the tragedy that happened here in the Philippines. There is no tragedy that happened to Filipinos in Hong Kong. So why will we impose sanctions on Hong Kong? There is a tragedy that happened in the Philippines to Hong Kong nationals, and that's why Hong Kong is imposing these sanctions on us. Definition of who the sanctions are applicable to is significant in that they only include officials. Therefore, it is a diplomatic, it really is a government-to-government act. And they are trying very hard not to affect those who have really nothing to do with it, including Filipino nationals in Hong Kong. And I think that's a very, very good sign. And it isolates very clearly that that is all that is needed to put this problem behind us and to move forward.
Among the four demands asked by Hong Kong, it seems to be like apologies the only thing left to be discussed. And Mayor Estrada has prior attempts before to apologize to Hong Kong, but it seems that it's not enough for Hong Kong.
No, apparently not, because it is again, Hong Kong is, it is the government of Hong Kong that is making that request. And so the apologies that the present mayor of Manila, former President Estrada, is not sufficient because in their view. But again, it seems to me such an easy thing to remedy, and it's such an easy option to take, and I find it hard to understand why we are not taking that option of apologizing.
Lastly, sir, if our president is not willing or he doesn't see the need to apologize himself, who do you think is the most appropriate person or representative?
Well, the only person at that level who can represent the government is the president. Perhaps we could attempt, maybe if we instruct the Secretary of the Foreign Affairs, maybe, as member of an alter ego of the president, and a member of the executive department. That might be sufficient, but these things have not even been explored, so we hope that they will try to find a way around it, because it is an uncomfortable and unnecessary difficulty that we are imposing upon ourselves and our relationship with Hong Kong.